Apple faced a multitude of challenges in 2023. The latest being a ban by the US International Trade Commission or USITC on Apple Watch Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra 2 over Patent Row. But the ban was lifted after the firm filed an emergency appeal with authorities. Although the Cupertino-based tech giant may have got a temporary relief for its smartwatches, the regulatory hurdles do not stop there. European regulators pushed back against Apple's product policies in 2023, forcing Apple to accept the new regulatory norms in the region. Apple heeded to EU's request and replaced the Lightning cable with a universal charging cable of USB Type-C on the iPhone. However, the EU is now pressing for further changes, specifically urging Apple to open up its ecosystem to competitors. The EU's guidelines include permitting users to uninstall pre-installed apps and replace them with third-party alternatives. Reportedly, the Indian and Japanese governments too are working on bringing in similar regulations on the tech giant in 2024. The Indian government is pushing Apple to replace its Lightning cable to USB Type-C. Apple, however, has asked Indian officials to exempt it from the rules, saying these may hinder its production targets. These targets are set under the government's product-linked incentive scheme for mobile phones, which Apple is a part of. Apart from regulations, the company also saw its revenue dipping year-on-year in all the 4 quarters of financial year 2023. Apart from regulations, the company also saw its revenue dipping year-on-year in all the 4 quarters of financial year 2023. The company's fiscal year begins in October and ends in September the following year. In the 4th quarter of FY23, Apple's revenue was down by 1% year-on-year, continuing the full-year trend, while the sales of Mac, iPad, and wearables also declined. Sale of Apple's Mac was down by 33.9%. In the September quarter of 2024, iPad sales were down by 9.8%, while that of wearables dipped by 3.1%. Apple's woes did not end there. Its second biggest market, China, also faced turbulence. In September 2023, Beijing banned iPhones for state agencies and state-owned companies. Chinese regulators have launched an investigation into Apple's key supplier Foxconn over taxes and land use. In response to this, Apple is actively diversifying its supply chain with increasing its manufacturing in India, a market which is in the bright spot for the tech giant. According to company research platform Toffler, Apple's India business reported a 48% surge in FY23. While its net profit increased by a whopping 77%. The company is in talks with the Karnataka-based Acus Group and Foxconn subsidiary Rapros Technologies to scale up manufacturing in the country. In 2023, Apple fans in India got a huge present from Tim Cook, Chief Executive Officer, as he inaugurated the first 2 exclusive Apple retail stores in Mumbai and New Delhi.
India is, for Apple, what China was in the last decade. India will power Apple's growth story in this decade. There has been a strong growth momentum that Apple has witnessed in India. And this has been primarily contributed by a growing Make in India, a growing presence of supplier base for Apple in the market, for not just its attractive domestic market, but as well as for India as an export base. If you were to look at Apple's play in India, there has been a very strong aggressive retail rollout, both online and offline, contributing to Apple's success, not just in tier 1 cities, but across aspirational India. And this has contributed to Apple's highest ever market share in India at 6% this year, and it could potentially reach 8% in 2024.
According to reports, in 2024, Apple is expected to globally launch the new iPhone 16 series, M3 MacBook Air, Apple Watch X, and Apple's first ever virtual reality headset, Vision Pro.
Yeah, I think as is expected, 2024 will be, the Vision Pro will be the device to watch out for. That is, the global launch is in 2024. For other devices, I am seeing a lot of kind of, stagnation, or in other words, we may say maturity. But then we would now want to see in 2024 how Apple leverages AI on device, or on device AI, which we call, because others have already launched chipsets, though Apple has been using neural network for some time now. But as such, it has never come up with that it is leveraging AI on device. Okay. So that would be another interesting thing to check in 2024, which can, span across devices. For instance, iPhone, or, maybe also the laptop.
Although it has some exciting launches lined up for 2024, will there be relief for Apple and its ongoing woes?
Apple did face multiple headwinds in 2023, and unfortunately, the year ahead promises more of the same. It remains to be seen how Apple navigates all of these headwinds as it moves forward. Take, for instance, the European Union Digital Market Act. The DMA looms large. It demands App Store openness, algorithmic transparency, as well as fairer fees, threatening Apple's control as well as revenues. That said, there are multiple variables at play, and it remains to be seen how all of this plays out in the time ahead.
While Apple faces several regulatory challenges across the globe, experts believe the American company is likely to maneuver its way out. With a course correction, of course. On the growth front, innovation is the way forward. Meanwhile, the growing middle class in India and other parts of the world will continue to fuel its growth.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
She's working her way to the corner office. Business Standard.